Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Rundown, where we talk about 2A news and conservative views. I will be your host today, Craig DeLuz, coming at you from the West Coast, the left coast, behind the Iron Curtain, otherwise known as the Sierras. But as we all know, I do not do this program by myself.
That's right. My name is Mike Piroworski, coming to you live from the East Coast, the coast with the most, from the co-host with the most here on the Rundown 2A views and conservative news. Craig, how was your weekend?
Oh, dude, it was phenomenal. It was sunny and comfortable out. Got some yard work done. Got some chilling outside done. It was, anyway, phenomenal weekend so far. Or phenomenal weekend.
Very good, very good. Yeah, mine was one of those work all weekend kind of things. The schedule for the next 3 months is pretty chaotic, so it's just. I'll tell you what it was. At one point, Craig, I walked past the pool, kicked my shoes off, and jumped in, and did. I was in the pool for about 10 minutes, and then got out, and it feels like it was a successful weekend.
It must have been a heck of a weekend if that 10 minutes was your best 10 minutes.
It was, and considering I don't have a pool, I was elsewhere when I saw the pool. That made it even more enjoyable. So
So you were just randomly out somewhere and you're like, "Ooh, a pool." And
it
jumped
was.
in.
It was like kick the shoes off, pull the phone out of their pocket, tear their shirt off, one motion in the pool, lay there on the pool float for about 10 minutes, get back out, get dry, leave.
Before they called the police.
On my way. Continue on my way. So,
Good
not bad.
times.
That's the kind of weekend it's going. So that was my weekend. It was about 10 minutes long.
Well, it sounds like a long weekend for you.
Yeah, 10 of anything is long for a white guy, right? So, yeah.
On that note, before we get canceled again, go ahead and give a shout out to our sponsors, Mike.
I mean, unless it's peso, then that's short. Say hi to our good friends at Hitman Industries. That's hitmanindustries.net, hitmanindustries.net. You got yourself an AR in the past 5 years, probably got one of their barrels and don't even know it. Well, now you can buy from them direct for your next AR build or rebarrel your current rifle. That's hitmanindustries.net. California Republican Assembly fighting a good fight behind enemy lines. Now you could take part in California's future today. Reach out to the California Republican Assembly. Hog Holsters for the best tactical concealed holster around. Go to Hog Holsters. That's HAWGholsters.com. HAWGholsters.com. Use the discount code The Rundown, all caps, one word, no spaces, and get yourself a nice little discount. If you want the best in tactical gear, the best in field gear, get on over to uscombatgear.com, and they'll take care of you for all your field gear needs.
That's right, folks. These are our sponsors. They bring us to you so that we can bring you to them. Do us a favor. Do yourself a favor. Visit them. All you got to do is follow the links in the description of this program. Spend some money with them. Make sure you tell them it was the guys over at the Rundown that sent you. Also, make sure if you haven't already done so, please like, share, subscribe, like, share, subscribe. Let your friends know where this conversation is taking place and where they need to be hanging out. Because this is the spot,
Yeah.
in case you didn't know.
This is it. You never know what Craig's going to say next.
Right. Because I'm the controversial one.
Hey, listen, if you didn't throw so many meatballs out of here, I wouldn't swing at them, okay? Yeah?
On that note, we're going to move forward to our first story of the day. Protests in France over the retirement age. I have actually been following this story for a little bit, but I know we haven't talked a whole lot about it. Right now, currently in France, there are massive protests that are taking place. People are angry. They are upset. And it is literally, I mean, they have been marching now for weeks. And the interesting thing about it, Mike, is what they're marching over is the fact that they had to increase the retirement age for their version of Social Security. They had to increase the retirement from 62 to 64. And Mike, because of that, there is pandemonium in the streets. Now, to me, this is significant because this is where we here in the United States are headed with our Social Security system.
I know we're supposed to pay attention to what goes on around the world, I know we're supposed to care about what goes on in France, but every time we get one of these French stories, I'm like, oh look, I can catch up on the crossword while Craig's talking about it. Um, it's France. I think everything that France gets, they deserve. I really do. I don't know how you could be, how they could still be a country after sitting back and doing nothing for the past 100 years except complaining. I just listen. It's the only thing I watch out of France is the Picard TV show with Jean Luc Picard. That's it.
Mike, once again, all I have to say is what, first of all, the French are not someone who we need to be emulating because we're watching their country melt down. But my point is that we're dealing with the exact same thing here in the United States with Social Security. We already know that either we're going to have to raise taxes, or even raising taxes isn't going to solve the problem. The problem is we have way more people. We don't have as many people working, contributing to Social Security as we're going to need in order to be able to cover the expenses that there are. I mean, if you know anything about Social Security, you know it's a great big Ponzi scheme. Your money doesn't go into an account; it's not being set aside. That money right now is going to pay people who are currently retired, and eventually the generations after us are going to be paying our Social Security while we are retired. And something's got to be done. Something's got to, because right now we have a lot fewer people who are working than we estimated that we would have. And Social Security is projected to go broke in the next 10 years. And
Yeah.
when even Macron is like, yeah, we got to do this. I don't care if I lose my job. We've got to do this. Things are bad.
Listen, we clearly have a problem with Social Security, and France is what we want not to be doing. Um, and Craig, I think the reason we have the problem with Social Security is the current administration. Now, don't get me wrong. There's been other, Republican and conservative administrations that have ignored Social Security because it's been for a very long time, it was the third rail of politics. It was, don't touch it, don't worry. It's something that we're never going to have to deal with. It's something the future generations are going to have to deal with. Well, the math doesn't lie. Folks want to make sure you understand what Craig said. You can't just go and say, okay, I'd like all my Social Security back now. It doesn't get that. It doesn't work that way. What's coming out of your Social Security check today is paying the retirees' checks today. All right. There is no, it got put away, you're getting your money back later. It was a very, very bad bit of foresight, at the end of World War II that thought, one day it'll work itself out. Well, you know what they thought then when they realized it wasn't, Craig? Not our problem. That's going to happen 50 or 75 years in the future. Well, guess what? You're about 70 years in the future right now. So it's coming to a head.
Right. And I'm watching the protests that are taking place there in France, and I'm wondering, are we going to be looking at the same exact thing when we start having to deal with that here? And you already saw at the beginning of this year, they literally, Republicans and Democrats alike, were like, nope, not touching Social Security. Well,
it's the third. It used to be called the third rail of politics,
right?
And nobody wanted to touch it. Yep.
Well, and I think there's a way to fix it, but the problem is the way to fix it without reducing benefits is going to be very, very expensive. And that's the other problem is the American public isn't interested in the very, very expensive. They're just not.
No, Craig. If you figure, I'm looking at the numbers here. It varies from 6 to about 12-13%. So if you figure 8, 9, 10% of your check goes to Social Security over the course of your lifetime, once you think of all the money you made, getting a tenth of it back is what you're supposed to get back. It's not there. It doesn't.
No, it's not. And it would be, there were decades ago I was talking about, once again, the idea of privatizing it when it was actually something that was affordable, where we could have actually said, okay, look, above a certain age, you're going to get your Social Security that has been promised to you. Nothing's going to change for you. Below a certain age, you'll be given the option of having your money go into an account that is, a portion of it's going to go to help take care of people who are currently retired, and a portion of it's going to go into your account that's going to be invested in relatively safe investments, yada, 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 and then you'll be able to draw down on it when you get old. The problem is I don't know if we're beyond that now, but doing that is going to be crazy expensive. We got to figure something out. because right now the return on investment for most people, I mean, you'd have done better putting your money in a mattress than depending on Social Security.
Yeah, I think, listen, privatization is the only way to go. I mean, you've got to find an age cutoff, right? Whether it's 50, 55 or something like that, and say those that have paid in for more than 20 years will get something back. You can't just gyp them out of everything, right? But I think they ought to right now be laying out the option for no Social Security. You can select no Social Security, and you'll be responsible for your own future. Maybe we continue to take 4 or 5% of it, and we'll provide you with all your medical coverage after age 65. You know, they're already taking out that anyway, so I think you should be able to self opt out and be done with it. You know, because
but like I said, even if they switched it over to okay, well, this money's going to, once again, even if it just went into an account with your name on it, it's your money, your account, just to make sure you set aside something for your retirement.
Yeah,
even that would be better than what we're currently getting right now, than what's currently happening right now.
And folks, you understand how this works? Listen. At the end of the World War II, the baby boomers came and they had 4 to 6 kids. Okay. And then those baby boomers all went out and had 1 to 2 kids. And then the nuclear generation went out and had 1 to 2 kids. So you have this giant pyramid, this upside down pyramid as it grew. And now you have a smaller generation supporting all those baby boomers that are approaching 70 years old, 65, 70 years old. So the numbers didn't continue to grow the way they thought they were going to grow.
Well, exactly. We have a society that has devalued the family, devalued having children, and so people have chosen to either put off having children till later, so they're having fewer, or in many cases decided not to have children at all. And a society has to have at least, what is it? It's like 2.5 children per couple in order for a society to grow, and we are right now currently below that. I think we're somewhere below 2 children per couple, somewhere around there.
Yeah, and it would still have to make up for the baby boomer offset, but yeah, it's not going to happen.
Well, but at least then, eventually we would age out of. Eventually, that baby boomer generation would die. Well, would die. Eventually, they'll die, and so those numbers will go down. The problem is right now is that even after that, even once you start getting into the Gen Xers and whatnot, there's still too many of us and too few of the Gen Zers to be able, and their kids to be able to pay into it. But anyway, we see what's happening in France. Folks, just pay attention. This is what happens with socialism. So don't be surprised when it happens here, I guess is my point. And moving right along, Pentagon official reads racist tweets. Okay, so there's this Pentagon official who there's this woman. Let's see. Let me pull her up real quick. Her name is Kalisa Wing, and she's a former diversity, equity, and inclusion chief at the Pentagon. So her job is to root out racism there in the Pentagon, right? So this person was responsible for put out this tweet. I'm so exhausted with these white folks with an X in these PD sessions. This lady actually had the audacity to say that black people can be racist too. I had to stop the session and give Karen the business. We are not the majority. We don't have power. A thread, why ask for assistance? Now, here's some of the questioning that took place there at the. This guy here is Henry Cisneros. He is the what is his position? He is the. Well, it just says Gil. I'm sorry, Gil Cisneros. He is basically the head of the DO. I guess the head of the Pentagon. I don't know. Anyway, I'll look it up while we're listening to this question and answer period.
I would like to go back to the tweets of the racist person that works for you. What does caudacity mean?
I have no idea, Congressman.
You took 6 months to investigate one tweet. You didn't even figure out what the words meant?
I didn't investigate the thing. She's a DOD.
Well, you said in the Fox News article that you were going to take 30 days and investigate it, and it took you 6 months. In a 6-month investigation, you guys didn't learn what caudacity meant? I think you know. I think every person that's going to watch this exchange knows you know. She's trying to lash audaciousness with someone being Caucasian, isn't she?
I have no idea, Congressman.
Wow, what an investigation. When she
Well,
does PD
I did
sessions,
not. I will say I did not do the investigation. She is a GS employee that's employed by Dodia.
Well-
Dodia conducted the investigation.
gosh, the Pentagon told Fox News Digital that Gil Cisneros would provide a final decision in 30 days. So someone at the Pentagon is throwing your name out there as being responsible for this, and now it looks foolish that you're suggesting you don't know what that means.
Well, I would say that
hold on,
that
PD
quote did
sessions.
not come from
let's
me.
Go to,
I don't
let's
know
go to
who
this,
that
Mr.
came from.
Cisneros. What's a PD session?
My guess would be personal development.
Personal development. You don't think it's professional development? Another
that too.
open matter for the investigation that it didn't resolve. So you don't know what caudacity means. She's obviously talking about professional development there. And like when she says, I had to stop, or let's go to the next claim. The caudacity to say that black people can be racist too. Mr. Cisneros, can black people be racist too?
I've already stated, Congressman, that I didn't agree with her statements.
But I'm asking
Department
about
of
that
Defense
provision.
didn't
Can black
agree with
people
the
be
statement.
racist?
This question is about me or my personal beliefs. But again,
You're
I
the
don't.
leading
I-
official over DEI.
I don't
A
agree.
racist person who works for you puts out these tweets, and you won't say whether you agree or disagree.
I
with
told
the
you I
statement.
Mr. Chairman, I
I
just want
don't
to
agree
remind
with her
members to
tweets.
observe standards of decorum.
This
Is
is
that okay?
decorum. It's my time. Can black people be racist?
I do not agree with that tweet.
Do you agree with that statement? I'm asking you a statement. Can black people be racist?
I'm not going to answer that, Congressman,
Why not?
because you're asking me a personal opinion, and that's not what this
Well,
is about.
actually, I'm asking you in your capacity as a senior DOD official in the Biden administration, where we see recruiting falling off the table, whether or not the embrace of racist tweets, whether shuffling these people around rather than firing them, and whether this little exchange here is helping or hurting recruiting. Let's go ahead and put up the recruiting.
I will tell you, we do not support racist tweets.
All right. So we'll move on. So Gil Cisneros is the Undersecretary of Defense for Personnel Readiness of the United States. For personnel readiness. I don't know. It doesn't sound like he's very good at making sure anybody's ready. Doesn't sound like he even knows what's going on in his own department.
Sounds like he's a racist. I mean, if he's not going to deny it, let's call him one, right? He's not going to say anything about racism. So let's just say that if you have racists in your organization, you refuse to investigate them, you let them do what they want, and refuse to have a conversation about it, then you're a racist as well. That's all there is to it. You're an undisciplined leader, is what you are, sir. If you allow this to occur below you and have no care in the world how it turns out, you're an undisciplined leader and a racist yourself as well.
Well, and what's funny is, so this lady, after sending this out, this text out. Now, once again, she's trying to say the guy Cisneros was trying to say, well, that's personal development. No, that's professional development. That's what she does for a living. Is she puts on these professional development seminars and trainings for the Department of Defense. And so during this seminar, she decided and once again, so she's talking about the seminar. She says racist things during the seminar, and then she tweets racist things about the racist things that she said during the seminar that she did on the job. None of that is personal, well, except her attitude. But the fact is that all of that has to do with what she was doing on her job. This woman needed to be fired, and she was not fired. She was simply reassigned.
Yeah, that's it, right? We don't have to make the problem end. We just have to hide it somewhere. Again, they're okay with the racism. Oh, well, you know what? We'll get more value out of her and her being our token employee than firing her. So just put her somewhere else. Nobody's gonna remember who she is, and she'll be fine over there. For me, sometimes it's kind of easy to determine if something is racist or not. If I were to say the exact same thing about another group, right? So if she were to say the exact same thing about black people, if a white person said the exact same thing about black people, would we be in an uproar? Would these people be in an uproar? Yes, they would. If someone said that a black woman said something and they had to put that black woman in her place,
Yes, they would lose their minds. It would be livid. It would be the front page of the New York Times. It would be the lead story on CNN, MSNBC, ABC, NBC, CBS, you name it. It would be the lead story all over the place. So yeah, it's race, especially when the person is, I don't know, supposed to be in charge of anti-racism.
Yeah, and I'm just looking at her outfit there. It doesn't look like she's dressing rather neutral either to try and mend fences. So
Once again, this goes back to just I will continue to say this, and I have had people who are into the whole DEI thing look at me cross-eyed, and some of them get just angry with me when I say, some of the most racist things that I've heard have come during anti-racism training. And I'm not referring to the things that they are responding to. I'm talking about the things that they are teaching in anti-racism training are some of the most racist stuff I've ever heard.
Oh, absolutely right. Absolutely. We know what's going on. Yeah.
Anyway, moving right along, church fighting for its Second Amendment rights. In New York, they have passed a law, though the New York law that they passed restricting the individual's ability to be able to keep and bear arms or to be able to carry is affected. One of the things that they consider to be a sensitive place is a house of worship. And there is a church that is there that is actually fighting in federal court for the right to defend itself, for people to be able to defend themselves. Here in California, there's been a piece of legislation introduced called SB2 that is really a bad piece of legislation in that it allows locals to create a hodgepodge of restrictions and laws. So you never know exactly what you are allowed to do and not allowed to do, what sort of ammo you're allowed to carry, not carry, where you're allowed to carry. But what it also does in California is it prohibits an individual from being able to carry in a church. Now, Mike, how many mass shootings have we seen or mass casualty events involving firearms have we seen in the last decade that have occurred at places of worship? Well, how do you expect these churches to be able to defend themselves? I know where I go to church, we have a security team, and most of the people on the security team, or several people on the security team, have concealed carry permits. And so that what gives them the ability to be able to help defend the church. Now, are they now saying that the church is now going to have to hire security in order for them to be able to have a firearm there at the place of worship so that they can defend themselves if someone decides that they're going to attack that church?
Greg, you want to know what's going to stop church shootings? I'll tell you what's going to stop church shootings. You asked, that's how you started your question there. See above my head here, here's a little sign that says on air, right? A little on air sign.
Right.
When we go out, and we've been to many places together, Craig, where we do public radio, public TV, and we put the little sign up that says on air. And 100% of that time, Craig, that sign's effective. People stay away. They don't come over and talk to you. They don't interrupt you. They don't bother you while you're in the middle of doing your thing, because it's a sign and the sign works. So what we're going to do is get a sign and put it up at each church, Craig. It says gun-free zone. And once we put that gun-free zone sign up, Craig, everybody will be 100% safe from any firearms entering that church. Problem solved.
Yeah, there's only one problem with that, Mike. And we've done these many shows times and times again, and the light has been on and bright, and people still walk up to us and talk to us while we're doing the show.
But there's a sign, Craig. There's a sign. They have to obey the sign.
I know. And even when you point to it, they keep talking. You like point to the sign. You're like, excuse me, there's a sign right here. You see the sign, right? You see it right there.
It's usually sitting right in front of us on the desk, by the way. So, I mean, if you're sitting pointing at the sign, behind the sign, doing the thing the sign says not to do, you really think a sign that says gun-free zone is going to keep your church safe? No. The only thing that's going to keep your church safe is another guy with a gun, good guy with a gun. All right, that's what's going to take, or the threat of a good guy with a gun, the ability for a good guy to carry his gun to the church if he wants to carry his gun to the church.
Right.
And when I say guy, I mean guy in that unisex kind of way, like Miss America. What a guy! I'm not ruling them out. So, yeah, it's ridiculous to say that we're going, because we clarify these places of worship and places of peace, there'll be no violence there. Okay. Can we put that same rule in effect for Israel? How about that? That way the Palestinians can't attack them anymore.
You know what? That would be a great way to end the war in Ukraine.
That's right. Signs, right? Yeah.
Right.
Russian
No
free
Russians
zone.
here.
Yeah. A war-free zone. How about that? War-free zone.
I don't understand. It's like, okay, look, the two places where we see most often you see these mass casualty events, churches and schools, are places that are like, well, we don't want any guns there. Look, the people who you don't want to have guns there are going to bring a gun there anyway. In fact, they're going to bring a gun there because you told the people who you should want to be carrying a gun not to bring a gun.
Yeah. Maroons. Like I say, Craig, if you don't have less on, you have more on, and that's what we have. So
If you have less on, you have more on. There you go. Good stuff. Good stuff. All right, moving right along. We've got, all right, there was a poll that was done talking about the importance of traditional American values. And folks, it's not a good thing. Not a good thing at all. According to this study, according to this poll, nevertheless, a large plurality of respondents reported American society has already gone too far in accommodating people who are transgender, with 43% saying that is the case. 25% said the U.S. has gotten the issue about right. 33% say society needs to accommodate transgender people more. That's not the one I was looking at. Where's the one I was looking? It's up here somewhere. Oh, here we go. The poll found that just 39% of Americans say their religious faith is important to them, and just 38% say patriotism is very important. Wall Street Journal compared those numbers to the first time it ran the poll in 1998. It says 62% of Americans said religion was very important to them, and 70% said patriotism was important to them. Now, Mike, I think it's obvious why these numbers have changed. And I think that just has to do with our educational system and our media, academia and media, which have gone out of their way to tear down the United States, to tear down people of faith. If you happen to believe in God, well, then you are an extremist in their eyes and have no real place in public society. I think they have done a tremendous job of pushing the religion of worshiping the state.
yes, don't forget, Craig. In addition to an extremist, you're also a racist. All right, because
I can't forget. Yes, that would also make me a racist.
You can't go to. I think you have to be a racist before you go to extremist. I think there's a step in their accusation process.
So you're saying that racism is not extreme?
Oh no. Racism now is everybody's. Everybody that's not them is racist. So I think extremism is now the extreme form of racism, right? It includes it. So I'll have to get their chart and figure out which step is which, but I'm pretty sure racism comes first in everything now. And then extremism is probably like right in the middle, and then above that you probably have like ultra extremists, so whatever that is. Yeah, this is ridiculous. All you want to do is stand up for American values, and now you're going to get a label. You know what? I got labels for you too. Here's one for you. You see that label? There's one. Take that label. There you go.
There's a reason why America is America. And it's not because we take advantage of people. It's not because we hurt and harm people. It's because we believe in working hard. We believe in individual rights. We believe in individual responsibility. The things that make America great make America great. And unfortunately, those things are now frowned upon here in the United States. Things like, once again, work ethic, logic and critical thinking, believing in something and having a set of moral values that are beyond one's own desires and fears, whatever you want to say, but on one's own wants and desires. How about that? But I think the more we get away from it, the worse our country gets.
Yeah, I agree. It's going to continue to happen, especially under an administration that promotes things like racist people, literal black racist people putting out black racist tweets that say things like "you're a racist" and I'm here to promote diversity. When we see our was it Secretary of the people in the Secretary of the Treasury's office stealing luggage while dressed like a clown or whatever the hell she was doing. Or he was
All
doing.
dressed like a
You know,
clown.
this is what you're going to get. You're going to continue to get this type of slide towards Sodom and Gomorrah. When you have an administration that's promoting all this ridiculous crap.
Yep. Yep. In the name of inclusion.
That's right.
I always say this: the problem with making it a big tent is the bigger the tent, the more clowns get in.
That's 2 clown references in one topic. You got to love that, folks.
You gotta love that. Look, that don't happen everywhere, but it happens right here.
That's it.
And on that note, time to move on to our parting shot. Oh, let's turn that on. There we go. Bam. Parting shots brought to you by Hog Holsters. Go to hogholsters.com. Use discount code The Rundown, all caps, no spaces. Get your Hog Holster today. This first one is a video. You're gonna love this one. You know that for Women's History Month, Hershey's decided to have as their spokesman in Canada a transgendered woman, or basically a man. So a guy named Jeremy decided he does Jeremy's razors. They sell razors, but they decided that they were going to create a comeback, or at least a retaliation, kind of a mocking Hershey's. And so anyway, you're gonna love this. Love this commercial here real quick. Check it out.
International Women's Day is upon us again, and I love an international woman. But our friends over at Hershey's, they don't even know what a woman is. They've hired a biological male to be the spokesperson for their Women's Day campaign, and they're calling that campaign, and I swear I'm not making this up, Her-She. Her-She. It's humiliating, and it's the reason that I'm launching Jeremy's Chocolate. We have 2 kinds, she, her, and he, him. One of them's got nuts. If you need me to tell you which one it is, keep giving your money to Hershey's. But if you're tired of giving your money to woke corporations that hate you, and you're looking for a delicious chocolate bar from a company that actually wants your business, head over to IHateHershey's.com and order Jeremy's Chocolate today.
One has nuts, the other doesn't. Sounds kind of simple to me.
It is, and just to as an example of how extreme this has really gotten. I don't know if you watched the news at all this weekend, Craig. There was a major explosion in the chocolate factory, and it's either 3 or 4 or 5 people have already been confirmed killed there outside of Hershey, Pennsylvania. So this is really getting crazy there.
Well, I'm not even going to comment. I'm not even going to comment on that. That is a sad thing that anyone died, but that's that people died making chocolate. But anyway, we'll probably have more on that story later after we get more details on it.
There we go. I'm back. You got me?
Yes, I got you.
Okay, I lost you. What'd you say there? You said something?
Oh, I said we'll be fine. I said we'll probably get back to the folks on that story on the Hershey's chocolate thing.
Oh no, it's hold on. Okay, you look that up, and you go to the next one, and I'll get you the story update. How about that?
Okay, there. Go ahead and do that. So this next one, folks, we got here. There's another indictment that is going to be coming down for Donald Trump. Evidently, Donald Trump is going to be indicted for removing the mattress tag in 1997. By the way, this is brought to you by the Babylon Bee, which means this is comedy. For those of you out there talking about we're spreading fake news, yes, Babylon Bee is fake news. It's actually not really news. It's called comedy. So
we got comedy, folks.
If you don't like it, get over it. And this next one has to do with our friends, our environmentalist friends, because, you guys are really not the smartest people in the world. So therefore, we're going to refer to you as climatards. Now, what is a climatard? A climatard is a person that believes that the climate can be changed by paying a CO2 tax to the government. Yes.
Well, yeah, there you go.
A bunch of y'all out there do believe that is in fact possible, that paying a tax to the government will eliminate climate change. Yeah, you're dumb.
Pay that funky tax, white boy.
Yes, you are dumb. Okay, here we go now. Let's look at the story. 2 victims of the chocolate factory. 7 people total have been killed. Wow. Okay.
I told
That
you,
we are
the
saying
chocolate
total
dealers
explosion
shouldn't have
claimed the lives of 7 people. What is going on? Okay, so did they determine exactly what was going on there?
I'm ready.
Okay,
Yeah,
I'll be with you in just a
there was
second.
an explosion of chocolatey goodness.
Okay,
And
we have a guest with us again.
Oh, she knows about chocolate.
She does know about
You
chocolate.
like chocolate?
Yes, she knows very much about chocolate. Say hi to everybody,
chocolate.
Jane.
Hi.
Okay, she's so excited to be on here. Mike, do me a favor. Go ahead and give a quick shout out to our sponsors so we can get ready to head out of here.
Let's do it. Let's say hello to our good friends at Hitman Industries, hitmanindustries.net, hitmanindustries.net. Now you can get calibers of rifle and pistol and different lengths for your AR. So you get a rifle caliber barrel, pistol caliber barrel, and all the lengths you want. So to go to hitmanindustries.net, that's hitmanindustries.net. California Republican Assembly, fighting a good fight behind enemy lines. Now you could take part in California's future today. And if you want some awesome field gear, some tactical gear, some web gear, get your butts over to combatgear.com.
That's right, folks. These are our sponsors. They bring us to you. Go visit them. Spend some money with them. Make sure you tell them the guys over at the Rundown sent you. On that note, we're going to go ahead and head on out. Very much appreciate you tuning in today. Appreciate you liking and sharing the program and encouraging your friends to do the same. We will see you tomorrow on Taco Tuesday.
Ooh.